Vanilla Cappuccino by David's Tea. Now this is a black tea that David's Tea recently came out with that it touts kind of just everything great about the morning. You have your black tea, you have your cappuccino for your coffee flavor, and you have the sweet hints of vanilla. Let's take a look at this. It's a black tea, as I mentioned. This sweet and creamy black tea is like a decadent iced cap without the sugar crash. Iced cap, they mean iced cappuccino without the sugar crash. However, I prepared this warm, so it's not really iced, but that's besides the point. Now, this is low caffeine, which is interesting for a black tea, but that's fine. The ingredients are apple, black tea, rose hips, candied pineapple, coffee beans, natural and artificial flavoring. Now, it's interesting that there isn't any actual vanilla in here, and that the first ingredient is apple. It's also interesting that you have pineapple in here and rose hips. I would have thought, vanilla cappuccino would have been vanilla, coffee beans, and black tea. But I guess David's Tea has a whole different take on what this tea should taste like. So I've steeped this up, and I think it's time for us to see whether or not their ingredient palette is what this tea should taste like. And let's see exactly what they had in mind by having some weird ingredients in here for what you would have thought would have been a very basic black coffee flavored tea. So, scent-wise, you get a nice little sweet smell. You do get a vanilla hint in there, which is interesting, but that could be also the sugar from the fruits that are in here with the coffee bean, with the black tea, might be giving it like a false aroma in a really weird way, but it doesn't smell bad. So let's take a couple sips. Let's see what vanilla cappuccino is all about. Alright, so that's really good. When you go into the flavor of this, you taste the black tea and the coffee offhand, but underlying there's like a really weird sweetness, which you could tell is definitely from the rose hips, the apple, the pineapple, but it doesn't make it bad. It's just, it makes for a very interesting, but as I mentioned, decadent flavor. Vanilla cappuccino does taste like a cappuccino tea, which is awesome. At the same time, it definitely tastes like something different. So when you put this all together, like I mentioned, I thought this would have been a very basic tea with very basic ingredients, and I guess by adding the fruits to it, it gives it a natural sweetness that can work in the form of like sugar. But for what it's worth, as this being probably a breakfast or night tea when you're trying to relax, vanilla cappuccino hits the spot. It's weird that it has coffee beans in here and black tea, and it's still low caffeine, because I would have at least thought medium caffeine. But it all depends, I guess, when it comes to the ingredients, how much of each is in there. Now, this is a relaxing tea. It's nice, it's smooth, it's silky, it's decadent, and for what it's worth, I think it's worth checking out. Now, maybe this is supposed to be an iced tea because it says it's like an iced cappuccino, but I prepared it warm, and if it's iced, it kind of makes sense a little bit more of why the fruits are in there. But I digress. Warm, this is a decent tea for what it's worth. I'm going to have to try it iced in the long run, but vanilla cappuccino I think is definitely a tea you should try. Definitely a tea you should give a shot to, only because I think it's going to hit the spot first thing in the morning or late at night when you're trying to relax. So those are my quick little thoughts of Vanilla Cappuccino by David's Tea. As always, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you have any questions or any comments, you know where to leave them. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, I'll catch you later. See you, bye.